I think they will need to adjust because, of course, if they do win this, Team QUESO are going to go back and pick blue anyway. So we have to think a little bit about ahead. You know, they've got to win 3 games in a row now. Team QUESO are 1 win away from claiming the Origin Series Championship and also booking their spot in the Horizon Cup later this year.
Instant Galio ban, first one out. It was a problem for RIX in the first 2 games, no doubt about it. We had that change around, but Ziggs is going to get removed. We saw how strong that can be. Even if you don't get fed, the wave clear alone is punishing.
I just think, though, from a fundamental level, Team QUESO are playing better. Right now, I think at the end of the day, they've got better
objectives,
wave control,
vision,
better wave control setup.
Yeah.
Their vision's better right now. Their engages are much more clinical. They're able to capitalize on things much more heavily. I think the Rakan is genuinely a problem. I think the Rakan has been so good and so influential in setting up Team QUESO. I don't think RIX are giving themselves enough agency in their drafts. I don't think RIX are drafting enough to say, well, when we want to pull the trigger and go, we don't have enough to do that. And whereas Team QUESO, every single time, whenever they want to force something, they've always had the way to force it.
Is the Ari going to sneak through? Is Camille going to sneak through? The center goes out. There's the Lee Sin taken away. Been very strong for Andreas in the last game, no doubt about it, but they don't want to allow it to go across, which means they have something else focused for their first pick. Now, what do we see here for QUESO? It is the Camille, which leaves the Ari open, the Gragas open. Which do we feel is more impactful here for RIX?
I think Gragas is the safer bet. Has the flexibility, doesn't offer up too much in the draft. I think they've shown they know how to deal with Ari. They have won a game versus the Ari. And I think the Gragas had some brilliant moments for Clue in that game. But it will be the Riven, which has snuck through the ban phase once more. That will go straight over to RIX here. It was one of the things that allowed them to get the win.
Incredibly strong for previously. Snitch, yeah. And it's also something we've seen not only Snitch play, obviously Leon and Doom are both capable of it, and that does, of course, leave the Gragas open for QUESO as they look to move over to that. So that might be on Memorize. We don't know, as Ruiz will get himself his RE. That's been so strong throughout.
Yeah, absolutely. I think QUESO will be very happy with their first phase of the draft here, as you said. Likely going to be Memorized Gragas. We've seen it much more in the support role than we have in the Baron lane position this tournament. It'll be Xin Zhao immediately for Doom, though. RIX trying to craft a comp very similar to the one where they actually picked up a win.
Ooh.
And the Seraphine has slipped through the draft again.
So, I mean, one thing for Doom, he has been involved in First Blood 100% of the time he's played Xin Zhao so far in the finals, but those encores were absolutely on point. The question is, what the RIX pair with this? They are debating exactly what it will be. Of course, Darius will get locked in once again for Acolyte, and there is the Corki coming in for Ibu.
So now we see RIX get their pick of the litter when it comes to this Seraphine combination on the bot side of the map. Will it be Braum to provide that big, strong front line? Orianna does get locked in here. Maybe we see the Braum just to provide that front line for them. You know, often you'll see the Seraphine paired up with the Sona or the Lux. Sorry, it will be the Sona that comes through. Very heavy scaling here. But there isn't, apart from Doom with his ultimate, so much frontline to speak of. It does mean that we are going to see, I think for the first time, Leon on this Riven this time round, and it will be Vi that comes through for Team QUESO. Team QUESO have got a very, very standard kind of like back-to-front style team comp where you have a little bit of isolation with the Vi and the Ari, whereas RIX, it's very heavy scaling, and that is one of my worries here. You need a lot of time to get this Seraphine Sona going.
Yeah, what we've talked about before is the fact that they are powerful when they get the early game. Let's get that match underway, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 5. Will it be QUESO that take the championship here, or will RIX fight back once again? 100% win rate for the blue side so far, which does favor RIX, of course, and challenges QUESO's love for that Rift Herald.
QUESO have been so good. I really can't take anything away from this tournament. I think that all of their fundamentals have been so incredibly strong.
Leon.
I've been very impressed. It's a really early wave shove for Leon and Snitch. Leon will be able to hit level 2 very early on in that top lane matchup. You see that Acolyte has responded by trying to shove the wave as quickly as possible here, but we have a very, very mobile Riven who should be able to get into the top lane without losing too much to the tower.
Yeah, if anyone knows how to counter that, it's Acolyte, who's been doing it to everyone all tournament long. That's for sure. It does mean that Doom's coming down for the red buff early on, so he's going to be getting that one smite away and carrying on on his merry way. Pretty much standard reverse pass for the junglers. We'll keep our eye on that because, as I say, Doom has been involved in the early fight so far. That's a lot of damage going down onto Ubu. And that is the danger of this combo. Sustain and damage can be piled on quite quickly.
Yeah, very difficult to pressure these guys out, especially with the combo that you're seeing in the lane here for Memorize and Ibu. They're not exactly going to have the same amount of pressure that you would expect a lot of answers into a Sona Seraphine lane to have. So they are going to let these guys scale up, and they're just going to hope that they can kind of take control of the mid game. Gragas is a great answer, I think, into Seraphine Sona in general, though. It's a very, very easy way to... we have... Oh my god, that's the charm down.
He's missed the charm. He's going to go in for Ruiz here. Andreas is instead going to get turned to the focus. There's almost certainly first blood, but he gets the heal off. And no, it turns around. Doom goes down. Andreas still alive. Stitch fail flashes. Oh, disaster for him. He can't get away, but here's the sustain and power that they were looking for. Andreas, the shield comes through. They do get him down. It's turned around again. Acolyte, not a great deal of damage to come out here and help it out. And Stitch will get focused on by Memorize. What the heck just happened? A 3 for 2 for QUESO in the pit.
Absolutely mental fight, but it was Acolyte that had the priority and was able to roam down a lot more quickly. I understand what RIX did. The charm was down for Ruiz. That kills a lot of the Ari's power, but they were able to just collapse behind the Darius. Watch this. Great flash from Ruiz. Stops a lot of the damage coming down from Doom. And that is a brilliant engage from Acolyte. Just straight on, shuts everything down, and he starts to build those stacks up. Leon immediately forced out. Snitch flashes into the pit. You don't really have any mana to work with right now. It's also an Orianna in the early game. You're not exactly going to be doing work. And it's just a great response to an aggressive push on the Rift Herald. And to make things worse, a Rob Salt in the wounds right now. It is a Rift Scuttler secure for Andre, which puts Team QUESO in a great spot in this stage of the game. They've got double scuttle as well. They double scuttled.
Yeah, double scuttle coming out of that. They immediately went straight down there. So, 1,000 gold differential given across to RIX there. And it may just give them that advantage they've been looking for to try and force out that Rift Herald early on. I can see Memorize already coming this way. It's about a minute early, though, so going to wait a moment. Look at Andreas. Andreas sneaking into the top lane, trying to be unseen.
They're rotating everybody up here. Yep. What they're doing is they're stacking a wave. And they're trying to force Leon away from the tower right now. They're going to try and catch out Ibu in the same play, but there's a lot of minions and a lot of golden experience being forced away from Leon. They're trying to go for the first tower as well.
And notice how Memorize didn't go to the tower there, making sure they don't have the 3 on the tower. They only have the 2, as opposed to RIX going with the 2 on the turret there. Stitch taking incredibly low. We'll get that defense through. Leon almost going down as well, and Ruiz nearly 2v1 in them.
First tower of the game, surely, for Team QUESO here. As you mentioned, it is a 2 versus 3. They need to have the 3 on the bot side of the map here because...
we were talking about this on day 1, the power of having 2 versus 3 on a tower. It gives that tower a buff, and RIX just not reading... I mean, obviously, they don't have the damage coming out from a Seraphim and Sona so early on. They're gonna force the Dragon Start? Okay, they're going to try and counter it into the Rift Herald, but I tell you what, QUESO are going to get this Rift Herald and be down here quick.
They are going to be down very, very quickly. Ruiz has that charm available. Friend sitting on the sidelines. I think unfortunately RIX have to go for it. They've whiffed the ult as well. This is disaster for them.
Acolyte coming in. They're looking for this one, and I tell you what, QUESO may be stuck in the pit. The crescendo's already gone out, and it's not really done a great deal. Clue's going to have to try and flash away. He's got nothing. And look at Ibu. Ibu just popping off in the backside. The dragon will go across the QUESO. They'll get themselves a kill out of this one. Ibu just about flashes out in time, but everything is going the QUESO way.
This is domination for QUESO. They mean business in championship point right now. 4,000 gold lead, 5,000 gold lead at 4 minutes. RIX are in shambles.
They throw down the Herald instantly. Ruiz once more. He's going to come in, and Doom will fall. And this is a huge lead now for the Spaniards.
They've just played the early game so well again. 2 people on the top lane tower, secure first tower, straight into Rift Herald because they have the priority top lane. Take that, force the mid lane tier 1 down. RIX, if they are going to come back from this, it will be one of the best comebacks I've seen in competitive because they are down in the dust right now. Not that they can't do it, they've got Seraphine Sona, but a lot of the ways that you stall the game out have already been eliminated by Team QUESO. Mid lane tier 1 gone, top lane tier 1 gone. Those are great stalling mechanics that you now lose. As we said, the whiffed ultimate from the Seraphine, a very, very low impact Sona ultimate. Everyone bullied into the pit. Early game as well out the window because you're Seraphine Sona. And it was just such a great collapse from Team QUESO. I think RIX just, they look rumbled, mate. They look absolutely rumbled.
Yeah, I mean,
their heads aren't in the game right now.
Obviously, we have the benefit of hindsight, and we can see that it was such a danger move in the pit, and that is going to be Snitch caught out here. Nothing you can do about that one, and they get themselves a double down on that as Clue's finished off, and that is a very raucous QUESO that you are hearing in the background, and it is absolute silence from RIX.
I don't blame them. I really don't blame them. QUESO deserve every voice that they've got right now because they are absolutely crushing this final game. RIX have just not been in it. QUESO have been better from start to finish. You really can't take that away from them. They're now denying jungle creeps away from Doom as well. Starving the gold away from RIX, who need it so badly on that Sona Seraphine. And you can hear the shouts. I stayed quiet for it. The solo bolo from Ruiz there, giving him the Ari in the most influential game of the series. Snitch down at 0-3. This is 10,000 gold building up for 7 minutes in. You are looking potentially at your new Spanish overlords here in the Origin series.
Second place in June, third place in July, and second place once again. Always the runners-up to RIX throughout the monthlies. And at no point did they best them, but here in the grand finals, it is looking like a shoe-in. 8,000 gold, 7 minutes into the game. All the objectives swing in their favor, and you can see what that means across in terms of items and gold. An assassin of Ruiz. Oh, Clue is caught napping. Tries to flash away, not gonna happen. Absolutely fast asleep.
Nothing they can do. They've got no control over their blue or red side jungle. RIX are boxed into their inhibitor towers at 7 minutes into the game. This is a clinic from Team QUESO. It has been a clinic all series, D-Man. They have just got everything right, and honestly, RIX have just not been able to contend.
From the very beginning,
exactly.
You know, just from a small fight, not even for the Rift Herald, for the Scuttle Crab at the Rift Herald to get the vision, but they're running headlong into Team QUESO, who are ready with open arms. Doom will fall, Andreas will turn, Clue will be the next target as he tries to get away. Sustain or not, you cannot avoid such a huge gold disparity, and they are diving towers deep to get these kills right now. Acolyte will walk away, and they have the damage, the ability, and the skills to take the victory here.
10k gold lead, Infernal's up, they have a man advantage. Team QUESO have had their number, I think, from draft to execution. And at this point, you are just looking at a team that has an insurmountable lead to work with. They can do whatever they want on the map. And RIX are desperate even for a scrap of a kill at this stage in the game, and that ain't gonna save them. I hate to break it to you, but that ain't gonna save them. They need a hell of a lot more of that to get themselves back into this game. You know, Leon, you could see, desperate to try and make at least one pick, get something back, even just for morale at this stage in the game. But this is just pure gold advantage working through. They're not able to make that late game Sona Seraphine work because they have unfortunately not given themselves enough time to work with. A great defensive shockwave from Snitch, but it doesn't matter. Defensive shockwaves at 7 minutes into the game, or 8 minutes into the game, you don't want to see that. And I think Team QUESO right now,
they can't even get the blue buff away.
No, exactly.
It resets. They tried to pull it away, but the pressure from QUESO is too strong. RIX realizing there needs to be a death ball, but the problem is they've got that Sona Seraphine we were talking about. It needs time to get going. They haven't been given that time. And look at Andreas, happy to dive under the tower. Clue just gets decimated in there. Doom does what he can. Some good damage coming out from RIX here to try and turn it around. But the question is, have they got enough to try and get the damage down? No, the dunk comes through. Leon tries to escape, and it's a 3-for-3 as they keep themselves alive for now.
It's a wombo combo that works in favor of RIX, but it's still an even trade across the board, and it's still a 10k gold lead and a tier 2 turret that's being stared down by Team QUESO. The idea was there, the execution even lined up on that team fight, but Team QUESO were just too far ahead. Leon leading the charge for his team once more.
The charm comes in. Acolyte, though, can just turn his back in his favor quickly, and they all have to back away. They do save the turret, though, but it is a 10,000 gold differential.
It is just way too good from Team QUESO in this series. I don't think RIX can really say anything other than they were just outclassed. They're trying to get some control of their own jungle back right now. But with that Baron up, that is going to be an objective that it will really just be lethal to the chances of this game. Snitch does get away with his own blue buff for the time being. They're trying to build up towards those crucial items, the harmonic echoes for Friend. We're going to be looking towards, hopefully, a harmonic echo sometime soon for Clue. Once those items come through, maybe you have the sustain that you need in these team fights, but you're still building back from what is a ridiculous disadvantage.
Leon looking to try and punish, but he's get caught out around the side there. Oh no, separated from his team. Doom's in trouble. The Crescendo comes across, but there's no follow-up for it. Acolyte goes in. He's taken very low, but look at the lifesteal. He just falls out of there. He will fall in the end. It's still a 1-for-1 with a big top laner down. They're going to try and chase this one. RIX are looking towards it, but I don't think they've got enough to follow through, and they realize they have to back. The sustain is still strong, though, from RIX here. It's starting to show.
It's starting to show. Starting to see why this team comp's so good. Oh, Clue, you just played with fire, my man. 1-for-1 at the end of the day here, but it is still a big advantage in the favor of Team QUESO. Doom had to make that check. He like, you can't give up Baron here. You just lose if you give up Baron. They know that. So it may look stupid what Doom did, but he had to do it because he had to make the check. They have got no control over their own jungle and therefore no control over the river. So a face check is the only tool that they have in their arsenal to actually get onto the Baron. But the sustain, as you mentioned, there's 2 Staff of Flowing Waters coming through right now for Friend and Clue. He's providing a lot of teamfight sustain and a lot of teamfight backing off. Clue and Friend have their ultimates available here as well. And it's just elements of teamfights that RIX can work with. It's about whether Team QUESO play into that again, because a couple of fights now, it hasn't actually been clinical for Team QUESO, and they've allowed RIX to actually make their comp work the way they wanted to.
So 25 seconds on the board. It will be Dragon coming back up across that Baron there. But as we were talking about, you know, there is the danger. It still looms. A Crescendo, an Encore. And I was about to say with Leon setting things up, but they've got to be careful because you can see QUESO trying to set something up here. There's no ward placement at the moment, so QUESO unseen throughout the jungle, but fair play to RIX. You know, they're very much aware. Now the Dragon coming out, somebody has to peek this way. Somebody else to risk it. Memorize there. That's going to give the clue. Are they going Baron? No.
They're just trying to get some vision.
They want the vision there.
Yeah, they want the vision. They can't actually do it right.
Oh, they're going to get chased. They're going to get chased. Acolyte's going chasing for them. They're trying to look onto us. The Crescendo was used from Clue there to stop them catching on them and collapsing in the end there. That's a big weapon in the arsenal of RIX taken away for now. It's a pretty quick cooldown, but they're going to be timing that.
I think RIX know they can't contest Dragons right now, so they're just giving them up because there's nothing else they can do in this situation. As we said, they're just desperately waiting to get enough gold so that they become relevant in these team fights. It
was a Cloud. It wasn't a Elder. It wasn't worth risking it for. I 100% believe that, but 10,000 gold is still the difference. There's no gain on
10,000 gold is still 10,000 gold, man.
And it's some big items at this level, and it's equating to almost a full item per player at the moment. Certainly for the top in the jungle there. Memorize going to get focused. The push comes in, but that's a great slam from Memorize to slow them down. The explosive cast separates Doom from his team. He tries to do the same at the moment. Ruiz putting the pressure down on towards Snitch there. In goes Leon. There's the Encore coming across the Crescendo. Andre goes gold. They've got Ibu separated around the side, but there's no damage, unfortunately. It was a great fight, no doubt about it, for RIX, but the damage is just lacking. The 10,000 gold disparity showing exactly there.
Yeah, it was the setup maybe RIX wanted, but they just don't have the gold to work with. Andre trying to force Friend away from the tower. Memorize trying to find the flush body slam. They want this championship right here, right now. They're trying to threaten Friend at the very least.
Trying to do what he can. You can see he's fighting for it. He's got no mana left, and there goes the inhibitor turret. They will back away from this one. It's not going to be over just yet. There will be one more team fight to be had.
Take a look back at that fight. You see here that, unfortunately, again, situation where Clue and Doom have to face check because that Baron is getting started. Doom buys some time with his ultimate, but Snitch caught out positioned by Ruiz. Watch this. Great ultimate. Catches 4 from Friend, but the follow-up just not there. And we have that huge package from Ibu as well to really cut off some of the retreat from RIX. And RIX, as you mentioned correctly, the damage is just not good enough right now to actually contend properly in these team fights.
The Encore, the Crescendo, the Shockwave, everything was there. But they were just, the damage was just ever so slightly locking. You saw Ibu off the side, you saw Ruiz all so low. But again, just not able to get anything from it. Chasing down Memorize the Gragas. That is about the worst target you want there. A, you can dash away, and B, it's just a support player at the end of the day. While that explosive cast can be huge, and you can see the bait coming out from QUESO here. RIX realize the danger. They have zero vision. Tell a lie. They have the ward. They managed to get the scuttle grab, didn't they?
Yeah, they know.
Wait, step away. Calm down a moment. Okay. 15.5 minutes gone in this. We're looking at death timers that pretty much would finish the game right now for RIX if they were to get caught out. And it is so risky. They're fighting. And look at this. The Baron is being started out by QUESO.
And look, it's Clue that's the one that has to face check this right now. You've got Ruiz on the front line.
Oh, he's going to get caught out on the side there. Doom taken very low by Ruiz. That Baron being finished off very quickly. Leon has to go for it. Is he going to get close enough? No. The Baron will go across to QUESO. And now Leon tries to avoid the pit. The damage coming down in the pit, but it's not on the targets they're looking for. And this is QUESO turning the game in their favor. It is a team ace. It is over, ladies and gentlemen. That is surely it.
They're going for it. They're running straight down mid. They've got the Baron wave to work with teleports coming in. Team QUESO are going for the championship.
Incredible stuff from Team QUESO. No doubt about it. The Nexus will fall. It will be a 4-1 championship victory here in the Wild Rift Origin Series for QUESO. Absolutely deserved throughout.
And they absolutely deserve it. They're smashing the screens. They are hugging it out. You can hear their voices on these microphones. They're the deserved winners this weekend. They've played every series that they've entered with absolute energy, gusto, and it means so much to these players that have been second fiddle to RIX for 3 months now.
Not only are they champions here, they will go forward and represent Europe in the Horizon Cup later on in November. Incredible performance. 4-1 is a statement, certainly to rest of Europe. They've been second fiddle to RIX for the last 3-4 months leading up to this tournament, and you can see just what it means for these players. Absolute delight for a team that very much deserves an excellent performance in the semi-finals over Gamelord and a very confident, dominant performance over RIX GG here.
Yeah, it was a beautiful display from Team QUESO. They've played excellently from start to finish, as we said, leveled up here at the Origin Series, and they fully deserve this.
Congratulations, Team QUESO. Congratulations for the huge victory, guys. Got a couple of questions for you to celebrate it. Look, this has been, I'll talk for you then. This has been a 4-month journey for the team. You've had an incredible tournament. What would you say you've learned across the way? What's the biggest thing that's helped you as a team succeed?
Can I take this?
Yes, you can take that off. Though.
Okay. Basically, we have been in a 3-month journey that has been really rough. We have facing some difficult results. We have faced RIX, which is honestly one of the best teams that I have ever seen in the game. And they're super, super good. They have helped us as well to progress in the region and to actually improve our game style. So this is for them. They have worked a lot, so.
Well, your team's certainly been one of the more vocal ones we've had in the arena today. In your honest opinion, who would you say is the loudest out of these lads?
Oh, freaking Reese. he's so annoying in the house, you know.
Of course, your journey doesn't end here. You've won the Origin Series. It means you've banked yourselves a trip to the Horizon Cup. Have you got a message for any of the international teams who may watch back this footage in preparation for that event?
We have talked to some teams. I think they're gonna be better teams, honestly, internationally, and they're gonna be like a clash of metas. And China is super good, and Korea is super good, CA is super good. NA, we're coming for you.
Of course, NA are always loud. One last statement for you. QUESO proud?
QUESO proud, of course.
QUESO proud, guys! Thank you so much for joining us here at the Origin Series Championship in Stockholm. It's been an incredible journey, and I wish you all the best. Congratulations, Team QUESO!